Welcome to LeonCo, and on this video, this is our last video on our topic of investment. So we just want to jump right into it. And as we discussed in our last week's video about a theory, about a frame, about an idea, how can you start investing, we wanted to share with you guys the results of a 16-month experiment that we did on these couple of months, just to prove that the theory that we shared with you guys, the tool that we shared last week, is actually effective. So let's jump right into it. So as you can see in this diagram, it's exactly the way we envisioned it, we explained it on last week's video. First of all, the idea, well, we wanted to make sure that the idea that we explained, the vision that we shared with you guys, could be doable, it was practical, and we could do it. So we decided to take a 16-month period in which we took the theory that we developed and put it into practice. So that was the first part. The second part was getting that budget. Well, the budget that we defined was $150 to $200, which is a very, not necessarily an excessive amount of budget. It's a manageable budget for a person that's just started working, for young people, maybe older people that are starting to get into the investment method. And this is something that really is flexible from $150 to $200 monthly that you can take aside and start investing. So after we had the budget, we decided to go into our companies. The companies that we invested in were Disney, General Electric, and General Motors. These were our three main companies in which we invested. These are our safe companies, the companies that we trusted, the companies that we knew, especially Disney. When it comes to Disney, because we have 19 stocks on Disney, we have 30 stocks on General Electric, and we have 1 stock on General Motors. After that, we have our HPHD, which is a low volatility, high dividends mutual fund share, in which we invested in to get dividends constantly and monthly. And finally, we have our 2 experimental companies, our 2 experimental stocks that were Aerotech and Novavax. Aerotech is a technology and military company that provides training for policemen, for military people. And Novavax is a company that is in the pharmaceutical area, and it's developing vaccines and treatments for respiratory problems. So these were our companies that we invested in. Note the fact that Disney is our main, you don't necessarily see it as our main company because we only have 19 stocks instead of GE's 30, but Disney took a big chunk, mostly throughout the last months, of the amount of budget that we were investing in the stock market, because when we started investing in the market, especially Disney, was around the stock price of $109 to $111. And throughout these 16 months, Disney has upped its price, and it's currently selling in through the $145, $46, $49. It got up to $150 on its highest peak. So Disney took a big chunk of the money that we invested in the stock market. So after we had the companies that we invested in, let's talk about facts, let's talk about results. So throughout these 16 months, we invested $3,181 with 52 cents. That was the amount of money that we invested directly into the stock market. And the return that we have to this day, and when I say to this day, is to the moment that we designed this diagram and we wrote down the results. Keep in mind that the stock market is volatile, so it could be up the number or it could be low the number, because it all depends how the market fluctuates. But the return that we had is $3,615 with 77 cents. So that goes to a 13.65 return of investment. And if you remember on our last video when we discussed what was the normal amount of return that you can get from an investment in the stock market, was ranging about from 5 to 10%. Well, we actually got a chance to have a 13.65% of return, which is above the average of the return of investment. So we wanted to share with you guys a video explaining specifically what we did, how we experimented with the theory, with the tool that we shared with you guys on last week's video, so you can see actual data, actual results that this theory works. We did it throughout a span of 16 months. We invested from $150 to $200 throughout these 16 months, monthly, periodically, and we worked the stock market. We looked for low prices on our stocks, we looked to maximize our investment, and we worked hard throughout these 16 months. Keep in mind, there are many companies that can do this work for you, or if you're like us and you want to do it hands-on, there are companies that facilitate this process so you can do it hands-on as we did. The main reason that we want to share with you this tool specifically is to motivate you to try and do new things, especially if you're scared, if you want to start investing in the stock market. This is a surefire tool that if you stick to it, you do your diligence, you do your homework, and you work on it, you can have the return that you want. You can have above average returns. And this is the return that we had on having this amount of budget. Maybe if you invest more money, if you have a bigger budget, you can get a bigger return, and depending on the companies that you invest in. The most important thing is that you give it a try. Try it for yourself. Use this tool. Maybe you can use another person's tool. Do what works for you, what works for you best. That is the main thing. We just want to encourage you. We wanted to give you data about the tool that we shared with you. We use it. It's practical, it works, it gets the job done, it gets results. We just used a small sample of money. We just invested $3,000 with this limited amount of budget. Maybe you have a lot more money. Maybe you can try and doing $300, $400. You can do whatever you want. The main thing is that you can give it a try. You should start. The earlier you start, the better off you'll be, because the better off the returns that you will have. And we just wanted to share with you guys because we wanted to motivate you to try and get out of the comfort zone and start getting and building that financial independence that you always want to have, that we aspire to have, and we want to share with you the knowledge and the tools to achieve that financial independence. So I hope you guys like this video. We want it to be very straightforward and share data, share information, and be straight to the point on this last video for our final video for season 1 of LeonCo. So I hope you guys like this video. Give us a like, hit us up with a comment, hit that notification bell, subscribe to our channel. Let us know what you think of this video, and let us know what you thought about season 1 of LeonCo. We want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, all the blessings in the world, great success for your 2020 next year. But we want to remind you to always have that king mentality.